Welcome back to What's Next Garage. Today we're pulling off the oil pan gasket and cleaning things up. But what I noticed is this oil pan actually has the deflector upgrade already installed, which is nice. So you have to drill the rivets out of the oil pan gasket, and I ended up having to slide a scraper underneath. It still got stuck on the rivets, but once you drill them, you can then pull the pan gasket off. So what I did then is I went back after the rivets and kind of pounded them down, and then went back with a scraper and scraped them off a little bit. So here I am removing the splash guard, windage tray, whatever they will call it, but that's where the pickup tube rests inside the sump. There's 4 bolts, 10 millimeter that hold that in there. Now you can see the sludge, and I've talked to a number of people, and they say that sludge isn't bad. They've seen way worse. I guess what I need to do now after it's all cleaned up is continue to change the oil regularly, and everything should be okay. So this took a while to scrape and clean everything out of here. A lot of nooks and crannies in there. I first scraped out all the big stuff, all the big goopy pockets of it, and then I went through and started spraying it down with brake cleaner and basically wiping out the rest of the residue and staining. So I really felt like it was best to get everything out of there, go back with a pick and a scraper and get into all the corners, just to be certain that there was no metal debris left. Although I didn't see any metal debris and the magnet was pretty clean, I just, for peace of mind, was very thorough with this part. So I've gone around and I'm scraping off the sealing surface, which wasn't really that bad. There's just a little bit of rubber residue. So you can see I sprayed a piece of Scotch-Brite, went over just to pick up the staining and any type of rubber residue that was left over. Now with the Scotch-Brite, I made sure that I didn't stay in one spot and rub a valley into there or make it uneven. For the most part, this windage tray really wasn't too dirty, just stained up and oil residue on it. A little bit of Scotch-Brite, a little bit of brake clean, and it turned out pretty nice. So I reinstalled the windage tray, 4 bolts, 10 millimeter, and then I ran them down with my impact gun set on a light setting, and then came back with my torque wrench and torqued them to 18 foot-pounds. One last wipe and this was ready for reinstallation. The pickup tube itself was dirty. Again, Scotch-Brite, a rag. We were able to get her cleaned up pretty good. I did find a little bit of debris on the screen of the pickup tube with a pick, and kind of just picked a little bit of chunks out of there and hit it with the air compressor, and everything turned out really nice. this was the timing chain cover, and that really had a lot of crud on it. You can see here where I'm scraping it. It really was bad. And as I was cleaning, I noticed that the cam sensor could come out. So I was going to pull the cam sensor out and then just put the whole cover into a parts washer, my parts washer. However, the cam sensor came out very difficult. Now I looked on YouTube and watched people pull them out inside the vehicle. Unbelievable how difficult this ended up being. And I had the cover off. This was darn near impossible. So you can see I went around and I scraped all of the carbon that was built up on it, inside, everything, and it still didn't want to budge. Finally, I had to grab a 3/8 extension and just drive it out of that area. So once I got it out, I took it over to the parts washer, scrubbed it all clean, and went through and Scotch-Brite, blue towel, and brake cleaner. So then last but not least, I had to get the lifter soaking overnight because I was planning on assembling the next day. A little bit of Valvoline oil, and we put the lifters in the oil bath. So I noticed bubbles coming up, and I just believe that if I wouldn't have soaked them, there probably would have been some air pockets in there. So it was a good thing to soak them before. Well, I'm thinking it's time to go back to the motor, install our cam, and then move forward with the oil pump, timing chain, the rest of that. I have a few more parts I need to pick up, so I'm going to go to my local AutoZone and get all the rest of the parts I need, gaskets and stuff that I didn't think about before. So we're going to go put it in. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Next video we'll be installing the cam, timing chain, and start assembling this motor. Thanks a lot for tuning in to What's Next Garage, and we'll see you at the next video. Have a great day.